run this defense, if they're going to play a more passive defense and lock down the site, or if they're going to play an aggressive defense, push out, try and pincer, and shut down Kafalar before they have a chance to plant.
It's going to be great to see what both of them are going to bring to the table as a result. And obviously, we've generally seen Reina have some pretty tasty moments throughout the tournament so far. So we'll see if they can make it work here on Icebox as our first pistol round is underway. And already Athena takes the high ground as you would expect the Jet to do. Taking down a little bit of utility, hopping onto the zip line, and already pretty much getting everybody up onto the point. Triggering as many traps as possible. Kind of gets caught out a little bit there, but again, they're still making their way through. Claw on the high ground with the Reina, and that will be Spike going down, and they turn their back just to get their hip off.
Yeah, that decay does so much damage. It takes her so very low there. Now down to the 3v3. Spike is down, and the post plants for Kafalar have been questionable leading up to this.
Yeah, the defuse is already coming up from Slicey. Gets a headshot in there as well, and they've got it. They've absolutely got it.
Oh my goodness, they weren't able to spam down. That's why it's so important to remember exactly where that spike has been planted. Ping it on the map. Make sure your team knows, because the spam was coming through, but it was just a little bit too far off. And that defuse comes through in the middle of a cloud burst. It's quite a ridiculous showing, but it works out exceptionally well here for GangsterZz. A very good defensive half. Now we're going to see, the classic. Buy up a little bit. What is interesting is that Kafalar is doing that thing again. They're forcing up second round. They want to match guns and match firepower and try and win out this round. It's that high risk, high reward strat. Let's see if it plays out better for them this time around.
Yeah, it didn't go their way the last time they did this kind of thing, so well, see if second time's the charm. Already, again, Athena up onto the high ground, trying to get some kind of a pick, but actually takes a more damage than they actually give. Again, not the stuff that they were looking for, but it is going to be Daddy who gets the shot with the Sheriff first and foremost, taking Claw out of the equation. Slicey cannot get the bullets to land, and it's going to be Athena who gets the better of it. Athena does go down to a double from the Killjoy, and it brings us back to a 3v3.
Great work there from Leo with the Spectre to get those couple of kills. A little bit surprising. Oh, and such good follow-up there from Nello as well. So, last two players left alive for Kafalar Blue, and they're still trying to force this A site.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, you'd think they would have given up on that by now, but it's going to be a triple, a double, and there we go. Sage gets the final pick, and that is going to be, again, 2 points in a row for GangsterZz in the early stages. Yeah, that unfortunate first burst just missing on the side, and as a result, GangsterZz will clean up for the rest of the round. Fun fact from the previous matchup, GangsterZz had not one, not two, but 4 streak wins in a row in that previous set before Kafalar managed to at least interrupt them with a couple points here and there. So you get the general feeling that if GangsterZz keeps this up, it might be another one coming.
Going to be very difficult because, of course, they're forced down onto a janky buy. GangsterZz did lose a couple of players there, so it forces them down as well. But with a Spectre in Claw's hands, you know that's always going to be dangerous. The deep push through A, this is what I was talking about, that aggressive push. They know they have the gun advantage, and they're just going to create this pincer movement and try and stop Kafalar in their tracks.
There.
And look at that, they're already pretty much there. And again, Clara immediately just like, okay, I got to see a couple pixels there. I know they're going to be around here. Kafalar have 2 people, but hey, Jet's popping off as well. And in fact, they've got the knives out as well, so gets the double and pops the ult as well. 3 left on the board for them. It's going to be interesting to see if they can actually get this. And actually, Slicey is going to get themselves the pick on the Killjoy. So it's a 1v3 for Kafalar.
Now it's all down to Athena to try and make something happen. Yeah, the Blade Sword coming out, Blade Storm, may have been a little bit early. And in a 1v3, I mean, look at how they've positioned themselves to stop from getting onto the spike here. Spotted her out, knows where she is, only good for 1. And Claw with the swing will get that clean up. Another round on the board here for GangsterZz. And now the big question is, what is the buy going to look like? Because the economy has been such a mess. Kafalar finally going to be able to buy up here on round 4. And GangsterZz, wow, okay. Most of them going for a straight bonus, but Slicey not playing around, opts for that operator very, very early on. And again, this is also high risk, high reward. Because if she gets taken down, she loses that operator in this round. That means they're going to be their economy is going to be an absolute mess in the next round. So this is a very, very important round for Kafalar Blue to win. Not just because it gets them on the board, but because it will tank GangsterZz economy.
Yeah, you would think that they would like to try and get that operator away from them as well if they do manage to get the jet down in a decent position. But again, Slicey's not going to allow them a chance to really do that. We saw them miss a couple of these op shots previously, but they're not going to miss it this time around. Killjoy drops.
She hits those. Oh my goodness, the pixels through all of the Viper utility. Fantastic. And of course, the Viper utility doesn't stop bullets. It's not a Sage wall. It's down to just Daddy left alive. She's been absolutely stellar for this team, but unfortunately cannot go up against Slicey on that operator, along with 4 other players. A very, very dominant round here from GangsterZz. Good to see Slicey getting value with that operator, but just, oppressive round here. Kafalar, things are looking dangerous. They needed to win that round. Now GangsterZz economy is flying. Kafalar are going to be forced onto Sheriffs again.
Yeah, and just like that, Slicey just, again, becoming that force to be reckoned with. Never underestimate. I mean, like you said, like, just managed to find the pixels through the Viper wall and gets the pick as well, and a triple in the end with that operator. So, yeah, absolutely making it work beautifully, and we'll see if they can take a 5th point in a row. They've yet to do so. Kafalar always managed to find a way to stop them after 4. They've got it all to do if they actually want to take this, and the lockdown is initiated.
That early pickoff is good for GangsterZz, but Kafalar, we're definitely not hoping for that one. Lockdown's going to come through to try and shut down, push GangsterZz out, but it's already over, and GangsterZz are in such a good position here because look at this flank.
That is not going to be good for them. Waiting for the eye to go out. It does. Rinses through Daddy, but actually Daddy does live through it. Finally gets taken down in the midst of that, and heals them straight back on up. That is going to be a plant coming on down. Kafalar's the only one down, so they have to go for it. 1v4, but it's not going to have any kind of impact. And that is going to be another successful defuse, and that's 5 for 5 for GangsterZz.
It's really unfortunate that Kafalar don't have a flank check. And that's really so important. When you're executing on either A or B, there are 2 very distinct ways from each side that you can get flanked. And you need to have at least one person watching for that. Now, they had Daddy watching for it, but she was in a very, very bad position to give that information and to deal with it. She needed to actually be holding even further back. And it was so easy there for Kla to get control of that situation. And it's going to be really difficult for Kafalar to retake control here. They do have 2 ultimates online. They've got the Hunter's Fury and the Raze, but there's 5 ultimates available for GangsterZz, and the operator is still in play. Kafalar, you can actually see how carefully they want to think this one out before they commit to a particular site. It's a good early pickoff, but they need to leverage that more into the round.
Not quite able to get the upshot they were looking for, taking out the drone, but not taking out the agent. And it means that Kafalar does have a player advantage for the time being, but it's how they actually take advantage of that. But they haven't been able to secure that point as consistently as they'd like to. Both smokers are going to go down for Slicey. As GangsterZz again just keeping an eye on things. It looks like the rotation is actually coming out towards B by the looks of it.
There's only one person. Actually, there's no one on B at the moment. B is completely free.
We call that...
Of course.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to quickly just chirp in with we call that free real estate.
That we absolutely do. And it's good to see that Athena is watching these flanks as well, watching mid. They've got some watching towards the attacking spawn as well. So those flanks that I was talking about from all those different directions, it's basically being covered. And now it's just about watching because, of course, the main rotation is coming through the defender's spawn. There is one rotation from, attacker spawn.
Healer down.
And it is shut down. So necessary to watch for those. And now they can focus completely on guarding the spike.
Yeah, and taken down as well. Daddy gets through that. And obviously there's a lot of toxins up in that as well. Gets the up shot. Do they know they missed it? Just about missing it. And that will be Slicey down. And Kafalar finally get themselves a point on the board. I think that is going to be them safe as well. Taking weapons through. Did anybody pick up the operator? I don't think they did.
Nah, I don't think they want it, given that they're on the attack here. It's definitely more difficult to make something happen with that. So, rather just let that die, let it rip in peace. But GangsterZz economy is so good, so easy to just buy another one. Now, that was a good round from Kafalar because of the way that they used the Viper's utility once they were able to get onto site. GangsterZz with a very, very premature rotation towards the A site, leave B completely undefended. They're not going to make that mistake again. And I do believe I heard the Blade Storm pop. So keep an eye out for those knives as GangsterZz have 5 ultimates on the board here.
Clark gets a headshot, but immediately traded down as well. So it gives ourselves a 4v4 back to square one, essentially. Almost going for the... Oh, didn't actually get it! Slicey does not get the target this time around. Gets a second chance at it, though, thanks to Sephia with the res. That's why Sage is always such an important asset, especially in maps like this, when you know you've got the operator, you want to keep that on the field as long as possible. And the lockdown is up, and hey, speaking of Sage reses, we got one on the other side too, so both Sages have res.
But of course, that gives the numbers advantage still over to Kafalar. Now, they have slowed down considerably. Ooh, nice little peek there. And that gives so much information as to where everyone is standing. Oh, the pixels! Absolute pixels. Athena manages to take down the operator. No longer on the board here. And that is fantastic. But is it going to be enough? Because the spike is down, trying to make its way over towards A. They weren't watching for that flank because, well, the person who usually watches that got taken down too early.
And Killjoy, unfortunately, looking the wrong way as well. That just leaves the Sage up for GangsterZz. It's Nino against 4. They've managed to take 1 down, but time is very much... Well, I was going to say, was against them. Now the spike is going to be down for Kafalar over on the B side. So Nino is actually going to go ahead and try and fight this.
She wants to save the up.
Oh, yeah, someone was already there waiting for them, so really good plan, had the vantage point, and that gives Kafalar a second point in this, and very deservedly so in the end there. Again, Slicey just could not get the shots where they mattered most.
Losing out that up battle is definitely not ideal, and then to die again a little bit later in the same round to a rifle, very unfortunate. Now, they tried to pick up that operator in the previous round, but something that I had criticized GangsterZz for a little bit earlier, or rather Kafalar for a little bit earlier about watching those flanks, they do actually manage to sort that out and make sure that the operator cannot be saved. So now they're full buying up here. They've got some points on the board, looking a lot better off than they did on Bind. And the lockdown's going to come down again to force GangsterZz off of site. Amazing that they've managed to get another ultimate so quickly. And like I said, GangsterZz, no Hunter's Fury. Nothing to deal with that lockdown. All they can do is wait for it to finish and hope that the post plants aren't too dangerous.
And the Viper's pick goes up as well. So that will be the spike going on down. Cloud's just spraying on through, but actually got nothing with that. The knives are up from Slicey as well. We'll see if any proper purchase with this. And again, the pit is just such an intimidating thing to go through. First knife, first pick. That is the pit done and dusted. You get taken out in the midst of that, but that's still a massive setback
for
Kafalar. It's just Killjoy, and the Killjoy is down. How quickly that turned around. GangsterZz take themselves a 6th point.
Oh, very, very solid defense here. Don't even need that Hunter's Fury because they're able to shut down this Viper's pit. Unfortunately, Euless kind of on her own there, not expecting the Blade Storm to come out. And if those knives had somehow missed, because we've seen that happen where they just kind of go past your target. If that had happened, then that round probably ends very, very differently for GangsterZz. A very, very pivotal pick off there to make sure that the Viper's Pit goes offline and they have full vision and they're free to walk onto the site without, worrying about the decay. Now, again, Operator back online. Kafala. I mean, a lot of ultimates used there from GangsterZz. Every single one of them. And Kafala is still holding onto their Hunter's Fury and their own Blade Storm. So this is coming into this. At least something to work with. Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of spray from Cloud, but nothing finds the mark. Having said that, though, the Op does manage to take Sephia out of the equation. So back to a 4v4. And Slicey is always just incredibly dangerous with that Op. You have to be so prepared and ready for it. Julius gets themselves another smoke up. And quickly brings that back on down. Just gives themselves a little bit of cover to get on through. Gonna chop down the Sage Ball. Get themselves an orb. I think that means they've got res set and ready to go as well if they need it. Might give themselves the player advantage, but they might hold on for it for the next point.
That second kill was quite disgusting, but it does get traded out. So we're going to be down to the 3v3. Oh, the res comes through. That's really bad news here for Kafala. It looks like they might be able to get the plant, but the early Hunter's Fury means they're not going to have that for post-plant setups. So if the Spike Diffuse comes through, what are they going to use to try and deny that? They're already at a person disadvantage.
Yeah, that's not gonna go their way here unless they can get the picks where they matter most. Athena again at massive range here. Tries to open up, doesn't quite score. They know they're there now, but there's nothing they can do about it. They at least managed to get one pick in there, but immediately traded on out. It's a 3-1 advantage. Make that a 3-0 advantage. And GangsterZz secures themselves yet another point.
Oh, geez, that was super unfortunate with so many people left alive. Now, the Hunter's Fury, they didn't even get a chance. I think if they play for time here, they have a better chance. But they go in a little bit too aggressively, and it gets shut down super, super easily. I don't know. I feel like Kafala need to get a bit more patient. They approach the site. They're hesitant in how they, which site they're going to approach because they're looking for that little bit of information. That's important. That's good. But once they get onto site, their post plants just kind of fall apart. They haven't really, we're not seeing the same post plants that we saw yesterday. Yesterday, they were doing so well, shutting down any access to the site. And this time around, they're just kind of falling apart. GangsterZz have really, really good retakes. They get into those positions really easily. They get people out on the flanks so that they can get the pincers in. Kafala have really been struggling under the weight of the flanks. And it's just been it's been rough going. Having used that Hunter's Fury, now all they have is Blade Storm. They have rifles, so that's at least something, but this could be the last rifle round because economy, it's a thing.
Yeah, economy is a thing, and it's not in their favor at the moment. And Lato unfortunately runs straight into a headshot. Slicey not going to find anything with the op just yet, but give them a second chance. They might still yet find something, and they absolutely do. Athena drops on down. Sage at least gets a little bit of revenge and actually gets a double in the midst of all of that. And Lyra, unfortunately, could not find the pick that they were looking for as they all come running on in to get that spike down and actually gets taken out in the midst of it all.
This is impressive for Kafala to be winning out these gun battles so well. And now it's down to the last two here. Oh no, Sephia last person standing. This was looking so good for Kafala.
Oh wow, they got the triple, but unfortunately so too has Clark. And it's the Rain who holds on to take themselves an 8-2 lead.
That again, it was a potentially solid round for Kafala. Now they did lose the knives very early on in the series. That was kind of the tip of the spear there, but Sephia manages to even it out, and she got so many kills in that round. GangsterZz just way too oppressive. It's the same thing over and over again. Once Kafala get onto the site, they essentially become the defenders once they're on the site, and it all just falls apart. GangsterZz have been so good at shutting it down, and of course, Slicey with that operator has been quite the menace. Now, luckily, Kafala was still able to buy in that previous round, but this is pretty much it. It's the last 2 rounds in the half. They need to get that up to a 4 if they want to make something happen. They were able to do it on the previous map. Hopefully, they can keep that going.
Yeah, and something to note there as well. I believe the Killjoy on Kafalar just picked up the orb that gives them the lockdown, so they'll have this for either this point or for the next point, which we know will be the end of the first half. So good to get that ult on charge and ready to go, because in fact GangsterZz have nothing ready for that at all, so they're just reliant on sheer firepower.
Viper's Wall comes out, meant to be a little bit of a bait, but GangsterZz not taking the bait. They've realized the lockdown's going to come through, and again, that's the force off of sight. So this is going to help for Kafalar to actually get onto the site, but they need to follow that up with some really good work, because unfortunately, Late, you already down. Operator coming in clutch. The Blade Storm's going to pop. GangsterZz not willing to give up this round.
No, they absolutely aren't. They're going to go for the plant. Gets themselves a headshot, so that is a double. The orb doesn't quite go the way that they'd like to. They do manage to get the res at the very least. Make that a triple for Slicey. Make that a quad. Is the ace? No, the ace doesn't come. It just quite misses you just for a split second it might. But the Killjoy literally lives up to the name and denies them that. But GangsterZz will take the 9th point in either case. Goodness me, Jet, calm down.
Oh, wow. And this is super unfortunate because I think if Kafalar had a chance to have a defensive half, they might have been able to do better. But they're not really going to have that chance now because even if they win this round, they go into the half 9-3. And it's just 4 rounds that GangsterZz need to win. And that's the 2 pistols and the 2 bonus rounds. I mean, they've been consistently winning that over the last 2 maps. So if they do it again, and it's made even worse if GangsterZz win this round. Because Kafalar are going to have nothing. They're going to have almost no chance to make something happen in the second. Oh.
And Slicey is just scoring with the op even like more consistently than I love the fact that we ended like the previous match where Slicey missed both shots and traded out the operator. They've came into this one and absolutely made up for that. Like most of their shots have found their mark and it is showing. The confidence is just skyrocketing.
Even trade out here. And again, we're seeing that patience from Kafalar. They've got one very deep on A. No, Daddy, you were so important for helping with that push. Now the spike's going to start moving over towards the B site, which is mostly clear. But with only 3 players left alive, checking every single one of these angles is going to be a tough ask. And GangsterZz rotation has started to come through here.
Viper's pick goes up from Nello as well, I believe. And Julius quickly has to get the heck out of that. I see with the op, gonna try and maybe fire on through or just wait for the cloud to go. Misses the shot when it drops though.
An important shot to try and get, but this Viper's pit has been so pivotal. Ooh, just misses the default spray there. And that's a really big pick.
Yeah, Athena gets it where it matters most, and Julius tries to spray through, but it's not gonna happen for them. And GangsterZz will take that point straight away from them. Jet and Nello survive, and that is going to be 10-2 going into the second half in the favor of GangsterZz.
Oh, so unfortunate. Kafalar should have won that one. They should have been able to spray through the smoke, get that last player down, but unfortunately did not end up that way. So now we come to the half at a 10-2.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Look at Nino. Nino not just has 12 kills, they got 14 assists. They are always involved in this. Yeah. Look at that.
The heals and the reses do go burr. A lot of work being put in there. And now at a 10-2 half, GangsterZz need to win 3 rounds. That's 2 pistols and 1 bonus. Which means if we carry on with the streak that we've seen and GangsterZz take the first 2 pistol rounds, Kafalar will be able to, if they don't force up, and I think they will. I think if they lose the first pistol, they're going to force up second. And if they do that, I think the game is lost. If they save for the second pistol and have rifles and try to win that way, then I think they have a chance to bring this back. But we still have 1 pistol round to get through before we get there. We'll see if Kafalar can make something happen.
Yeah, Athena already down to 6. That's not the start you wanted. Anything else will likely take them out of the equation, but it's going to be Clara who actually drops first. Daddy's scoring in with the ghost when needed. They need to keep this up. They need to hold GangsterZz at bay, and actually are succeeding to do so Nello is down, and that's the spike dropped as well. They should be able to recover this, Gangsters. But yeah, might have to abort this and maybe rotate out. But Leia is actually on a little bit of an adventure of their own, but does get taken down.
Far better defense here. I don't see this going, 1v5. Alright, Nina doesn't take any damage there. Cool. Does manage to take down one. But yeah, I don't see this being an ace clutch. So Kafala will win themselves the very first pistol. And that means that they are able to bonus up in the next round, which means just off the back of this, they have a chance to claw their way back into this game. It's going to be an uphill battle without a doubt. They'll be able to bonus up. They should be coming up against pistols once again. They're going to need to leverage that advantage into another round win. But then they're coming up against rifles in the third round. And that's where it starts to get a little bit spicy. Hopefully by then they've given themselves a little bit of wiggle room. If they can win this round, hopefully they can keep some skin in the game.
Oh, we certainly hope so. I mean, I love the fact that I mentioned that Gangsters had like 3 4-in-a-row wins earlier in the previous matchup. Now they've got 2 5-in-a-rows, which just tells you how much pressure they are applying onto Kafalar, how much they're going to have to try and absorb here. Unfortunately, wandering through, everybody of Gangsters were just waiting for that, and it was just a question of who gets the kill.
A very, very important opening pick here for Gangsters. Ooh. Shock Dart connects! That's massive! And 2 extra kills to follow that up. That's another round win for Kafala, and this is massive. But like I mentioned before, Gangster's gonna be on a rifle round now, and this is where things are really gonna start to heat up.
So do we chalk that up to like what, 3 assists there for Daddy in the space of 1 dart? Like that dart was immediately followed up with like 2 kills from everybody else around them. That is what you want out of a Sova. That was beautifully done. And yeah, that's 2 points back to back in the at the start of the second half. So yeah, as you say, it'll be scary once Gangsters are able to get hold of those rifles, but it's exactly the start that Kafalar needs in this half.
And they've given themselves the operator. We're finally seeing that come online for Athena. We've been waiting for it. Now let's see how she compares to the op that we've seen from Dicey. Oh, the headshot to start it off. There's an operator here, ladies. You might want to rethink your strategy.
Such a tasty headshot as well, and that is going to just pop that fear factor back on the other side of the table now. This is what happens when you run into operators. And Clark, with the high ground, sets off the trap from above. Obviously not going to take any damage from up there, but again, it gives the information away to say, okay, someone's moving around down here. And again, you see both of the walls set up across B. So again, not sure how spread out the entire team is, but really it's the question of where are Gangsters going to take this? It looks like they are thinking about going to B, but crucially, Kafalar seem to understand that that is what's happening. They're coming with them.
A very good read of the situation, and of course making sure that the operator is constantly moving, not staying in one place. Oh, just misses the shot there onto Slicey, and that's pretty big. That wall's gonna get instantly destroyed, and knives are gonna get popped here. No plant for Gangsters.
Yeah, Spike is gonna drop on down. They saw a couple pixels there, so Athena will know someone is waiting for them, but unfortunately doesn't get the knife to go. And that is going to be Slicey getting the better of the jet exchange. Only 10 seconds left to go for the plant. It's now just Killjoy. And I don't think they're going to be getting anything from that either. 3 in a row for Kafalar.
Impressive defense from Kafalar here. In fact, they're denying any opportunity. I mean, I mentioned coming into this was going to be the rifle round for Gangsters. It was an important round, but they were denying the opportunity to even use those rifles. Just completely shutting down those sight lines over and over and over again. And now we've still got the operator online. Daddy's going to stick with the Spectre most likely because that's just the bonus. Kafalar forced, or rather Gangsters forced onto one of those kind of janky, Spectre-y buys. They know that they've got quite a big buffer. They can afford to lose a couple of rounds here, but they want to start picking up rounds if they want to win this out, if they want to clean up this series.
Yeah, just gonna say, Kafalar have to do all of the work in the second half. Gangsters only need 3 points, but Kafalar making this as hard as possible for them. And again, another shock dart, trying to get some assistance. Gets a headshot, gets two! Actually, that is beautifully done for Kafalar, and it gives them the player advantage on top of it all. Athena gonna get another up shot on the Viper. Goodness me, Nello has walked into that twice in back-to-back rounds, and one more for good measure on the Sage. And again, another point for Kafalar. This is exactly what they needed. And again, consistency when it's absolutely needed. Look at that.
Crazy. I mean, this is what I was saying. If Kafalar had a defensive round, we might see something different. We're seeing it. I didn't think it was going to be this dominant, but I'm really impressed. Now, bearing in mind, this was their map pick, so maybe they knew something we didn't. We lacked the critical information. They knew exactly what they were doing coming into this round. Now, they've got a Huntress Fury online. GangsterZz are going to have a Blade Storm, but things are starting to look a little bit dicey for these ladies. We'll see which avenue they choose to push through this time around. For some reason, Viper still chilling over in spawn. Just watching that angle, watching for those flanks. It's so important. Don't let anybody sneak up behind. It's been a detriment to them in the past. Hopefully they'll keep that on lock in this round.
We certainly hope so, as they start to move on forward. Bit by bit, they're certainly thinking about going into A. Again, they're all spread out across that top half. There's only one really covering it, but they've got a good vantage point for it. And unfortunately, they don't get it at all. Clara gets the pick. And that is going to be a spike planted for GangsterZz. And here comes the Fury. Will they get any purchase with this? The answer, it looks like it's going to be no. Yet nothing for that.
Some pro ducking and diving there. Kafalar hedge their bets on B. They're not watching for this flank.
Oh no. Well, at least Daddy manages to stop Nello before they can do too much damage. But that's still a player down. That gives GangsterZz still the player advantage, although having said that, it's now back to a 3v situation. The Sage has dropped, and Jet begins to boost on in. They know Kafalar, they need to get on with this. It's a 2v2 situation. There's the headshot, it's just the Killjoy left. They're going for the defuse, but they are going to be down. Will they get this in time? I think they will. No, they don't! Nope. They don't!
Oh, crazy round there from GangsterZz, doing so well to burn down that time amazingly. Oh, the swing here around the corner, and of course not watching for that flank. We talk about how important it is to watch for those flanks, and Daddy has just been absolutely smurfing. But despite being able to eliminate all the players from GangsterZz, it really was all about that time wasting. GangsterZz may have all died, but they still win out the round. But look at that buy. Most of them are on half armor, and most of them are down to 0 credits. Next round is going to be so dangerous. But if they win this, we're on match point. Now, they still have to deal with that operator. Oh, speaking of.
Commentator's curse coming up once again. The second you name the operator, there goes the shot. Thankfully, they do manage to get a pick down on their side as well. So it's back to an even footing, 4 versus 4. But they will not like the fact that that Killjoy has already gone off the table.
And immediately off the back of that, ooh, nice little res is going to come through. They are serious about getting this to match point. They pulled back. They want to get away from that operator as quickly as possible. They have managed to, but the equalizer once again, despite the res, bringing it back to the 4v4.
Yep, lockdown is going to go up as well. Slice, he does have the knives out as well. So they're definitely putting on this pressure. They want to get this plant to come on down. Athena just sitting there through the barrier, gets the shot when it matters, and gets the Jet down. Now they'll pop in with the rest of the knives. Not going to quite find the purchase. They're on 2 health. How did they live?
Wondering if the Sage is not going to be able to get a heal off because she's busy being a battle Sage. It's down to the last 2 players here to make something happen. Oh, beautiful. Oh my goodness, that lineup is so good. No one's going to be able to touch the spike for a little while, but that operator's still there. It misses!
Last player standing.
They've lost so much time to this. Nello might actually hang on to this. They're running out of time, and Nello is just playing for it. There's the headshot. There's the clutch. The triple for Nello, and that is match point in style, my friends.
felt like we were all kind of holding our breath there because that up shot missed. That should have been an easy cleanup, but somehow Nello survives, and the lineups with the snake bite was so good to deny any sort of defuse scenario. And when poor Athena was down to just, or not Athena, Slicey down to that last 2 HP, the cleanup was so good. And I said how important it was to win that round because now GangsterZz are in with rifles and they have the Viper's Pit. There's still a res available for Kafalar, but like, oh, this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't have that Viper's Pit anymore because it's the Viper who gets taken down for GangsterZz, so it's the last thing they needed to try and, I mean, like I said, they've got a massive lead. All they need is one more point at this stage, and they are through to the grand finals. And again, if Kafalar have their way with it, they will keep this fight going as long as they can. There are no ults on the table for GangsterZz, whereas Kafalar do have a spare res in the back. So if push comes to shove, they'll have to utilize it, especially if the spike is planted, and Claire does take their Viper down as well.
Slowed down the pace considerably here as Kafalar realized what an important round this is. Yeah. Spike's moving its way over towards the A site, which is somewhat open. There's that raise that's finally come through, and that's, they also have the Viper's Pit online just from dying. And Daddy once again holding down mid, not allowing anything to happen there. Down to the last 2 players here for GangsterZz. This should be an easy round win for Kafalar, but the pressure is on from here on out because we're at perpetual match point.
They've got 2 back. Are you kidding me? They've got 2 back. So Kafalar have lost 2 in this entire exchange. But time is running out. I don't know if they're gonna get. I don't think they will get to A in time, will they? I don't think they will.
No, it's too long unless they plant right here on the edge. Nah, I think they missed their window. Yep.
Yeah.
Just missed it with that last little sliver of time. Unfortunate. Oh wow, Kafalar really did well there. I spoke about how well GangsterZz burned down the time in the previous round. That's exactly what we saw from Kafalar here. And they're still able to full buy up. Okay. Athena going to be a little bit of a glass cannon with absolutely no armor. But they know that they can't concede this round because perpetual match point. GangsterZz coming into this on a save. 2 ultimates in hand. They do have the res. I don't think they res here unless they have a clear numbers advantage. Viper's Pit as well. Probably unlikely to come out this round. But Kafalar might use theirs. Yep. Start the round with the Viper's Pit. Shut down. Deny A. Force a B push. But let's see if it actually does pan out that way because it seems GangsterZz are not afraid of this Viper's Pit.
Oh my gosh, they're absolutely still going on in with this, and they're gonna get picked out by Daddy with a double headshot. Make that a triple for Daddy.
Oh my!
Right place, quad. Oh, it's a quad. It's an ace. It's an ace for Daddy.
Let's go. I mean, that was an anti-eco, so we knew that it was very likely they were gonna win out that round. But to get the ace with the sliver of sightline that she had available here. Fantastic! And of course, it pulled out the Viper's Pit as well. I think that's why they weren't too scared about pushing the Viper's Pit because they knew that they'd pulled out an ultimate that was super unnecessary in an anti-eco. Now, GangsterZz come into this. They're able to full buy up. Yes, 3 of their players are on 0 credits. But if it pans out, if they win this round, it doesn't actually matter. The op shot is going to whiff from Kafalar, and that's going to force those ladies to pull back, and that's going to give a lot of space here for GangsterZz to try and push onto the B sites.
Yes, somewhat spread out, but they're all just queuing into the middle, and Daddy again just waiting for them. The wall is going to come, so they know full well they're going to come through, but they actually don't get anything with that one. Julius at least managed to take out the Sage and the Killjoy. So, it is going to still be a player advantage, and actually, absolutely is. Kafalar, nope, it's back to 2v2, and they're dropping like flies now. This is crucial here for both teams.
So dangerous here in mid, dancing back and forth, trying to spot a sliver of a person, just a pixel to try and get that kill through. They actually win out that exchange, but Slicey is so low HP, and of course, Sephia is full. Because, well, she's Sage. If she takes a bit of damage, she can just heal that back up. Heal is off cooldown as well. A lot of time here. The plant should come through. Now, they don't have anything to deal with a post-plant.
30 seconds left.
because it's the two duelists that are left alive. Of course, Sephia doesn't have a ton to work with either. As long as these two players from GangsterZz stick together and swing on one another, they should... Oh, we didn't even need the swing! Oh, looks away, Sephia, at the very last second.